Hey there, YouTube. On this episode, I'm going to show you how to make a SIG 365 sidecar appendix rig. Stay tuned, and I'll show you step by step on how to do it. Alright, here we go. We're going to do the appendix rig for the SIG Sauer 365. This is the non-XL, just the regular 365. And then it's going to be a sidecar, so we got the magazine here. And show you everything that you're going to need to do it. So first, I'll prep the molds and everything. So for the magazine, what you always want to do is you always want to mold the holster with a round in the magazine. Otherwise, it's not going to fit well when there's no round in there. So what you want to do is, I personally reload, so I have just a projectile in there, and if you look, it's a spent casing, so no gunpowder, no nothing, it's not ammunition, and I'll just go ahead and load that up. Now, you got your locks, obviously. Now, what I do personally is I'll either Bondo everything up, or I'll just go ahead and wrap it, and when you wrap it pretty tight. So I'll just do that layer, and then I'll do a quick layer, second one. Make sure it's pretty tight, because we could always go back later and touch it up with a heat gun if we have to. But the goal is to do as little rework as possible. So we are going to do this guy now. And again, I'll do about 6 layers in this guy. So there's 3. Okay. Now, one thing that you want to keep in perspective is, if you notice, I go to the top of the bevel and then below it. So what I found that in Kydex holsters, if you only do the side of it, then it obviously bumps out the side, but it still touches everywhere else. So if you go above the curve and below the curve of the frame, then it absolutely fits much, much better, and you're slowly relying on this, and it's not going to scratch up your safe clean. So again, throw some more on there. And number 6, I'll do this one longer, and I'll fold it around just so it's nice and tight at the muzzle end. Okay, then we got our blocking. This right here, it's one of the steel bars from DIY holster. I love these. I have about 6 of them, maybe 8. They got a little notch right here. I don't know if you can see that, but there's a little notch for like lights and widgets and stuff like that. So I love to do them, mainly because they're angled, so they look pretty good. So again, we're going to look for where we need it, which is right there. You can also feel it. And we're going to place it. This one needs to be bent a little bit. There we go. And then what I personally do, because I found that if you just do a thick piece of tape and you put it on there, it'll actually move side to side in your press. Because I still use a foam press for most of my guns, or for most of my holsters rather. And I do it because I'm so used to it and I absolutely like it. So I'll explain everything. So get your pencil. And what I do is I'll line it up at one edge, hold it, and then use the bottom end to get that good clean line, because if you don't get that clean line, it's going to show up on the Kydex. So again, another small piece, do it from the other end. Alright, so there's 2. So there's 2 layers of tape on that. Then I'll do a third and final one going the opposite way. Now what I found is, if you do it like this, the Kydex is going to pull right here. And if there was nothing on this side, it's going to take this whole thing and slide it over when it pulls down and tightens, which is why you tighten this down. And then when you do it the other way, it pulls the other way. So by doing both, what it's going to do is it pulls both at the same time, which keeps it centered. And I found that it works much better, so we're just going to rock it. Appendix rigs, I like to do, like I widen the mouth of it so it's easier to reholster. Some holster makers don't like it. Some make fun of you for it. It's all in your signature or however you do it. I personally like to do it, so I am going to rock it on this. I just got to find it. There we go. And I try to take off the old tape, depending on which direction it's going. Mainly because you're going to see it. So, rule of thumb, you got your line for the grip. I like to continue that all the way to the top, so I cut these pieces of aluminum, get them at Home Depot, they're pretty cheap, and I just cut it and sand them. And I like to follow the line up as best I could, but also kind of keep it square. In this one, I'll generally just put one. And it overhangs right here, so I'll just push that down like so. All right, so this is pretty much done. What I do need to do, though, is find my... Actually, I'll get it with you. So I have retention plates. I have a lot of retention plates. Now there we go, 365. I have to hang them back up because I just moved my shop. And you can see over here, when I store my molds, I generally will take... and I'll store it with it so I don't have to dig for it. But because I'm not fully set up, and I have about 220 molds, as you can see, and they just mold for days. So, get this going back over here, get this set up. So again, we'll attach this because it's going to be inside the waistband. I will always do the retention plate. Now I do 1/4-inch retention plates. I buy them in a 2-foot by 2-foot section at Home Depot. It's like $7 or something like that, so it's not much at all. Again, put the tape around it. Make sure it's even in the middle. Then I'll take it, hold it with my dad bod. Get it right there. And then what I like to do is take the small tape, go right in the trigger guard on both sides. Boom. And that is done. So now we're going to do the magazine. Let's see here. Customer wants, let's see here, Battleship Gray, bullets facing away from the firearm. So the magazine is going to be indexed away. And what I like to do is I like to line up the magazine with the firearm, and I always put an angle on the magazine. I keep this one non-canted and this one canted. I personally think it feels better when you're wearing an appendix, because obviously it's pointed right at your boys. So I actually have a fixture for this as well, if I could find it. So I'll go ahead and clean the tape off. The longer you leave the tape on, the harder it is to come off. So just peel it right after you use it. So again, customer states that he wants this in Battleship Gray and bullets indexed away. So what I'm going to do, now that's done, I'm going to take this block, see how it's angled, alright, and I'm just going to marry it right there. And it looks about good to me. So, take my blue painter's tape again. And generally line it up with the bullet. All right, also another thing I like to do is I like to elongate this so it's easier to reholster. So I have cut pieces of, again, aluminum that match the width of a magazine. So let's see here, this is going to be right about here. And that's going to go down, it's going to come up and go over. So we'll put this right about here because we're going to cut that in half. But you still want plenty of clearance to be able to grab it with your fingers. And you just got to remember where you're cutting it. So again, take the back of the pencil. Okay, now what I like to do is I want to attach this to this, so you got to find where you want it. I personally, like I said before, I like to put the backs together. Now this is the extended mag, so if you use the normal mag, then it's going to sit down a little bit. So I'm going to pop this one just a little bit higher. Probably do right about there. Also, I got to take into consideration that my cut is going to be right here, so I'll just write that. Cut will be right there, then it's going to go down and then come up right here and then go over. My retention bolt's going to go right here, and then I'll do rivet, or rivet, and then you go from there. So what I'll do is I'll put a small piece of tape on here, head it right about there. And this is where it stinks when you don't have like molds made for this, but I've been doing this for 4 years and not really had an issue. And I'll show you how to bend it with it and all that fun stuff as well. Another tip you could do too is cut it. We'll fold it where it needs to be. Then we'll go to the other side and do the thicker tape again. Put pressure on it. Bada bang. Alright. So now this is ready. And now, I don't know about you guys, but I'm colorblind. So I can't do this stuff without looking. So knifekits.com sells this pretty sweet swatch. And Battleship Gray. He wants Battleship Gray. This is Battleship Gray carbon fiber, but I don't feel like looking for the rest of it. And I just so happen to have Battleship Gray. So for this, believe it or not, you could do this with a 8x8. You don't need anything bigger. The only time you need bigger is when you're rocking a flashlight. So I will throw this here. And then I'll just score it a little bit. Oh, as I messed that up. Cut. And we don't need this side. Let's go a little bit longer. Alright, there's the 2 pieces. Now, I always do black on the bottom. The reason why I do it, there's 2 reasons. One is black's cheaper. So unless they specifically ask for dual color, then I'm only going to do color on the top side. Black I do on the bottom. Now another reason why I do black is because I laser engrave all my holsters, and so it has my logo, my phone number, and it has what model it is. So you know you can't mix up your Glock 19 with your Springfield XDM. So I notice there's some crap on here, so I'm gonna try and clean that off. But I'm also gonna put it on a spot where there's gonna be nothing. So all right, so it's gonna go in my oven because I'm that cool again. Throw that on there. Do both at the same time. I like it to reach 350 degrees. And then I'll get that ready. I'm going to get my rem oil, get that ready, and then I got a glove around here somewhere because it gets hot, obviously. So I will come back to you when I check it. All right, so you can notice that they actually started to bend. Go ahead and check that real quick. So 220, so right about now, I'll take them, rotate them 180. Just because I like to do it evenly. And I'll come back to it. Then once I get to about 300, I'll notice the left side is 3 and the other side is like 240. So I'll move one, hold it, move it to the other side. Throw it back in, shut the door. And then I'll continue that until it reaches 360 degrees. Alright, we're at 335, so we're going to be pulling it out in a minute. Again, I like to go to 350. If I use my oven to do vacuum, I'll go to like 370. I try not to go over 360 in it, only because it starts to melt and it just kind of looks like crap. So once this hits 350 again, I'll go ahead and pull it out. Alright, and we're there. So I'll show you my trick for this. So I'll get you down here. Okay, so pull one. So, and my backer is going to be black. I'm going to throw this on there, like so. And then, little spurts of rim oil. The color that's wanted. And that's all she wrote. And if you haven't seen my press before, I'll show you that. It is a modified motorcycle jack on a 1-inch pipe frame, all the fittings, and then it's a slide-out bench. So I have another one here that's not being used. So what I do is I have a slide-out bench, throw the foam on it, throw the Kydex assembly that I'm doing, foam, throw it back in, and then adjust it. And yeah, may not look like much, but I think presses like there's no tomorrow. So we'll give it about 8 minutes, and then when it comes back, we'll dig into it. Okay, the holster is fresh out of the press, as you can see here. And we'll just take a quick peek at it and see how we like it. So it looks pretty good in the front. Pretty good definition. In the back, it looks pretty good. And you see it didn't move at all. I like it. Yep, looks good. And then again, we have bullets away. Yeah, and we'll go from there. So, the hardware I use determines where it goes on here, obviously. It's going to be the same thing for you. Let me get this going. So one of the things I absolutely love to use are the G-code J-hooks. These things are absolutely phenomenal. They're about $10 a piece. You can find them on knifekits.com. And what they do is, along with mounting on your belt, see how they're angled, and what they do is actually push the top of the holster into your body and helps with concealing. So I absolutely love these. This is what I use standard. You can use RCS overhooks. Those are great too. I'm not sure the price point on them because I don't buy them. But they're phenomenal. A lot of people use them. I laser engrave a lot of them. So what we're going to do is we'll throw our claw on there, and we're going to see just about where it's going to land. Now, I personally like to put 1 finger width in there so you can get a good purchase on it. So what we're going to do is I'm going to put it here. We know the top of the belt's going to be here. Bam, I'll go down slightly. So it's like right about there is where we're going to throw this. So keep this in that spot. And what I'll do is I'll trace so I know that's where we're going to be. Oh. Right there. Okay, no big deal. And then coming off the trigger guard. Boom. And then we're going to be coming up to a full sweat shield. Yep, he wanted a sweat shield. And I go to halfway up the sights. And then we'll curve down. And then what I do is I'll angle in here. Meet that. Then we'll come up, go down, and then we'll go up enough. So, like, we're actually going to go to the top of that bar. But we're actually going to cut it here for the front. And our retention point is going to be down here. So our retention point is going to be right there. And here I will have, see here, I'll have a rivet there, a rivet here. We'll go down, and then down, and then we'll line that up there. Now this is kind of a tricky part. You want everything to line up. So if you're going to do this here, all right, you don't want it here. You don't want it way out here. You're going to want it, I put them personally right in line with the magazine. Now you also want to take in consideration belt buckles and stuff. So if it's right at the magazine, that's plenty of room for a belt buckle. But it's really flat down here. So I'm probably going to go in just a hair more. And then line it up. That looks good right about there. So I'll take this. And that's where it's going to be. And then line it up. It actually looks a little bit too high. So I'll try that again. Yeah, it's just a little too high. So these right here are spacers. They're RCS spacers. This is a medium size and then a tall size. I do the tall ones for like 45s and the mediums for like double stack 9s. So I'll place this just slightly lower. And I'll trace the holes. So we got that. Okay, so boom, boom. And then this is going to come straight across. And then once I hit there, I'm going to angle it up. And then there's also, I'm going to put a rivet right about there. So, first things first. Put the clamps on so I don't mess this up. And because it's rivets, I'll be doing 1/4 inch. Doesn't matter where you start. All right. And if you remember, I sprayed a little bit of Rem oil on it, and this is the reason why. Pops apart. Pops apart clean, easy. You don't really have to worry about it. Boom. So now I'll take our deburr tool. I have it on a separate drill. And I'll just go ahead and Alright, so the reason why I'm not drilling this one is because this is going to be the dual layer here, and I want them to line up. And the reason why I'm not doing this one is because I drill this one at the end, because I'm going to bend it right here. And if you drill it now and then you bend it, you have a possibility of the holes doing this. So, we are going to do that a little differently. So we're going to clean this up, get all the debris off, and then rivet it real quick. Alright, back at the arbor press. So I am going to do these ones black. Now the guy wants like red bushings and stuff, and I just so happen to have red rivets here, and I don't use them much, so I'm just going to throw those on. This one I'm doing black because they're going to get covered anyway by something that is black, and this one will be exposed, and these two will be exposed, so I might as well just do those red. Alright, that, so with colored, if you don't have it lubed, it'll scratch. So, Rem oil's your friend. Not personally a fan of red on gray, but it grows on me, it looks pretty good. And I do the painted ones slow, but no matter what, they'll always go in the rear. Alright. There we go. And you can see this came out good. And then the third one. Alright. And you can see in the little bit of the now the rivet isn't, you can see that. The rivet isn't split, but the paint cracks off. It's the only reason why I don't like doing colored. But this guy, this is what he wants, so this is what he's getting. So now we're going to do to the scroll saw. Alright, we already traced out our stuff on this end. We're over there doing this, and now we're just going to go ahead and pop it. And we have our rough cut. And move to the next station. So I marked the sweat shield where it's going to get cut. So we're going to cut here, and we're going to cut here. Whiz wheel, Dremel, straight across. Then we're going to check the back side. So that's a little crooked, so we're going to go ahead and clean that up. Okay. Go ahead and sand it. Right, then we'll move to hand sanding. What I like to do again is the Dremel with the sanding wheel on it. This is 240 grit. I get it at Home Depot, packs of 5. They are phenomenal. You can see my edges right now. So And again, something else I do that not a lot of people do, it's also quicker on sanding, is I'll do about a 45-degree bevel on the inside on everything that I can reach. So okay, and then on the outside. Take my utility knife, just clear out any little debris, any burrs that are in there. Just get big chunks out. Okay, and then 240 grit sanding paper. It's a drywall sponge. I absolutely love this thing. They're only like $4.99 at Home Depot. And I just go ahead and do a quick polish, and I rotate. Oh, I can't even see that. And I'll rotate, you know, I'll do this way, top, and then this way. But I'll be careful not to hit the hardware because you will get a nice brass look. Unless you want that. You can see the finish here. You get the inside. Especially where the firearm enters the holster. Okay, that looks pretty good to me. Alright, so then what I'll do, I'm going to set you back up over here. Actually, just come with me. Yeah, that's a grenade launcher. So I'll take a rag, clean that out real quick. Actually gonna blow it out. Okay, so now I'm gonna drill both holes. So we'll pop this out completely. Discard that. We'll throw it in. Okay, and it's easier just to take a clamp, bam, throw it right there. And then what we're just going to do is step down from the quarter and do a 7/32. That's what I do for anything that a bolt goes through. Again. And we'll take this and we'll just clean up the inside a little. Bam. All right. Now from here, we're actually going to put the hardware on, just this side though. But I will grab all the hardware that we need, including the magazine, because we're going to need that shortly. Alright, so this is going to come down here, and we'll set you up. Alright, this is where the fun happens. And you know what, before I do anything, I'm actually going to wipe it down. I clean all my Kydex with Rem oil. I love it. I swear by it. Alright. Yeah, I like it. Okay. So what we're going to do here is we're going to take our claw, get our SR9 out here. This guy, that's the hardware for the claw we don't need. So we need this guy. I use pass-throughs. So what pass-throughs are is there's nothing on the bottom. There's no slot, there's no nothing. It's literally just a pass-through. So what I do something completely different than what other people do. They'll just throw this on there with one Chicago screw, and then it'll wiggle. And it's absolutely terrible. I think it looks terrible. And I laugh at companies that do that. So let's see. We're going to throw some red rivets over here. Now, I might not be able to use these screws, so just take a quick peek how it is. And this isn't the right one. These are pan heads. I don't have the right one, so this is what we're going to do. That's what he wants. So I do this. This is going to go here. So we do that. Yeah, you know what? It's not going to be nice. We'll need a longer screw, but I'll hook this up so you know. Might be able to use it. We'll see. If not, I'll track down longer screws. Again, pass-throughs on both. Actually, you know what? I think this would be good. So you see I got a little bit of bolt sticking through, and then you can see the pass-throughs. So that's what you want, and look, it doesn't move. So that's what you want. Alright, so then, oh, I didn't cut my rubbers. So you want to cut your rubber spacers, or get them pre-made. Quarter-inch rubber would probably be good on these. I actually have them from knife kits. So these ones are going to be slotted posts. So we'll open that up, throw those in there. Alright, there's one. Oh, never mind. When was it? There it is. Oh, apparently not. There she blows. All right. So with this hardware setup, to change the retention, you need a flathead screwdriver. It won't be from the top. The retention change will be from the bottom. So going pretty good. I bent that. All right, and I need my mold. Oh, got a good click. All right, so I'm going to leave it just like that, and the customer, if they want to adjust it, they can. I like it the way that is. Yes, it's not real steel. I really don't care. I've been doing this for 4 years, and I've never had an issue. So, booyah. All right, so there's that. Now, I'm going to bend it, but before I bend it, I'm not going to put this on, and I'm not going to drill this hole, so I'm going to build it. So what I need is the magazine. All right, so I got the mag. And like I said, we're going to drill that right about there. But I also need the firearm, and I need the piece of wood that we used. All right, so what we're going to do here, now remember your retention is actually going to change after you fold it. So I'm going to put the firearm in, I'm going to put the magazine in, and the same block that we used for the spacing, and you don't have to take the tape off, I'm OCD like that. Slide that in, all right? Take your clamp, just hold that in place, and then put this one right here. Just put it right where that is. You know, either on it, over it, whatever, just as long as it stays that shape. And then you're gonna meet your best friend. So, vise with a sheet over it. Okay, we're gonna open it up wide enough to attach on the magazine. Okay, adjust these real quick. Then we're gonna take our heat gun. We got the DeWalt heat gun again from knife kits. You can get it at Home Depot. It's like, I don't know, 120 bucks, 160 bucks, something like that. And then I got this tip on it. All right, and then you'll see exactly what I do. So obviously you don't want to stay in one spot for too long, because what's going to happen is you're going to burn right through it. And the smoke you see, if you see smoke, that's from the amount of rem oil that I have on this cloth here. So heat up a little bit on that side, and a little bit on this side. You want to heat just under the heat channel, or the sight channel, sorry. And then you do both sides, and you try and bring it up gradually. Let's see where we're at. All right, so I'm gonna do a little bit more on this side, just a hair. All right. Then I'm gonna take it and kind of pull the bottom towards me, and then lift it away. And then I'm gonna hold it right there, and then pull it out. And there's our curve. So sight channel remains, and then this keeps that distance right there. And you can see on this side, everything looks good. So what we'll do now, so we'll go back to this side. Take that out. Changed a little bit, but I still like it. That's real nice. All right, and then we will drill that hole, clean it, and then put the hardware in. All right, so I grabbed the drills. All right, so put the mag in, and like I said, we're gonna put it. I generally put it at the bottom of this guy, so we'll stick it right there. Not too high up where the bushing sticks out, but not too low either, because otherwise it doesn't grab much. So there's the hole. Clean that real quick. And I use a 7/16 bolt for my retention bolts. That's what I use for everything, unless it has the claw on it. And then these are the 1-inch ones, and then I have 3/4 as well. But 7/16 would be for retention always, for my personal builds. And then for like loops and all that stuff, I do 1/2 inch. And then foamies, I do 3/8. So I gotta grab some rubber. All right. Heat gun finally cooled, so we'll pull that. Make sure there's no crap inside. Spread eagle. Throw it in there. And then I put the Chicago screw in. And then your 7/16. Then I check retention. That's pretty good. I'm gonna go just a hair tighter because it has tape on it. So the guy, he can obviously adjust that to where you want. All right, next is you're gonna use spacer, and you see that there's a side with bigger holes and a side with smaller holes. Okay, so big, small. It also has an indent. In that indent sits the rivets. So it's going to sit just like that. And then we got our boy, our G-code right here. And again, they want these rivets. So what I like to do is I actually order 1/2 inch long Chicago screws. Bam, 1/2 inch. So, and then since he wants it red, I'll be able to do my, where are they? These guys right here. Again, 1/2 inch. And these ones, because it doesn't move, I'll Loctite. So, throw these guys behind it. Throw this guy. You see it's right at the base. Throw this on. There's one. And two. And you know what? I'll kick myself in the butt if I don't change this out to a red one. Alright, then we'll put our hardware on. This is the claw. The reason why I like this claw is that it has two different sizes that go against your belt. And if you're not familiar with what the claw does, is that it's in line with your clips, which go on your belt. So your claw actually goes on the inside of your belt, and it rotates the grip of the firearm into you. So that's going to go with this. We'll put the nut underneath, because these are ambidextrous. Bam. Bam. Alright, and then we did clean it, so now I'm going to brand it, and I'll show you what I do to brand it. And this is my messy workbench, because I have to build another bench. So until that happens, we'll do this. So I run a Rakis 20 watt fiber. It's my laser machine. I absolutely love the thing, and I laser everybody's stuff for them, and we're going to set this up. So we got right there. And there's our raised laser. So on this, I have it pre-saved, my logo. So my business name, my phone number, and then this is a SIG P365, and it is a aiwb. Boom. And what we're going to do now, we're going to take this and we have to set this up. Alright, got that set up. Took a little bit longer than it should have, and you have to be at the right height. Think of it as a magnifying glass. Okay, and exhaust fan. Alright, but I'll show you. You should be able to see it. That's where it's going to go. We're going to move that to where we want it. And then we can see the contour of it. And that is it. All right, and again, here is the finished product. SIG 365 appendix with sidecar, indexed away from the firearm in Battleship Gray with G-code hardware and red rivets and pretty much, you know, red finish washers. And in the back, my logo. And yeah, super clean. So it's gonna get just a quick little spray of Rem oil in and out. Get my greasy Italian fingers off of it, and then I'll blow it out, wash it, and that'll be all she wrote. Alright, and that concludes the video of how to make an AIWB sidecar for a SIG 365. Again, I'm Iggy Falcone with Faltac Unlimited in Barnstead, New Hampshire. Subscribe, follow, leave a comment, let me know what you think, let me know what other videos you'd like to see. Bye!